My hesitancy to share my story is because it's not the cookie cutter story. I feel like it wasn't really a story worth telling. But now, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay. You are our potter. We are all the work of your hand. I found out I was pregnant when I was with a guy who I didn't want to be with anymore. Maybe a few weeks after finding out, I had set my mind on, I don't want this child. I lived in Mandarin at the time, and I drove by the center all the time. And I was like, oh, gosh darn it, I guess it's time for me to go in there. I'm one of those girls now. So I went in there and took the pregnancy test and all that stuff, and spoke to a counselor. And even at that point, I was very set on abortion. That was my one and only choice. I hadn't told my parents. I remember distinctly telling my counselor with a straight face, I'm 100% sure I'm gonna have an abortion. I'm one of those abortion-minded clients that I've seen come through First Coast, where once you're abortion-minded and you figure out that First Coast doesn't give abortions, you're like, I'm not coming back. I wrote the abortion date on my calendar. It was on a Friday. And my mom came in and saw the calendar. It was on a Monday that she saw, so she had a week to figure out how to change my mind. So every night for 4 nights, my dad would sit me down on the couch and talk to me. He gave different stories of past people who wanted to have an abortion and chose life, and look what the people came out to be, and all the reasons why I shouldn't do this. On a Thursday night, right before the day before I was going to have the abortion, I decided to choose life and choose adoption. When I chose adoption, it was almost like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. It was really weird because I knew I had this whole journey of being pregnant, but it was weird how it was almost like it was the right thing to do. Despite the circumstances, this was the right choice. Even though it's public, your family, your friends will find out, but there's joy, there's peace. That weight is not any longer on your shoulders. At the end of adoption, there's light, there's life, there's joy, there's peace. In 2014, things have been going a little differently in my life, where I started going to church and kind of switching my life around in a different direction. And I picked up an application to volunteer for First Coast Women's Services. That's where I met Katie. And I remember I was sitting, and I didn't have anything to do at the moment. And Katie said, Katie, come over here and chaperone for this ultrasound. I think that's where the first little bits, little seeds were sown of becoming a sonographer. When I was in school, I always kept in touch with Katie. And Katie was like, all right, hurry up and finish, because we need sonographers at First Coast. And I was like, Katie, this is a 2-year program. Yeah, I can't finish it any faster. I knew that I had to come back to First Coast in the form of a sonographer. My goal is to just talk to that one girl that is in the same position that I was. I want to hear that girl say, I choose life. God was with me every step of the way, whether I knew it or not, molding everything together exactly to how He wanted it to look. The beauty in my story is that it is imperfect. I think the most broken things, the most cracked things, the most imperfect things are perfect for God's story. Behold, like the clay in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel.